Hey all, Cohen here. I want to make a video, um, update on stuff. There's not a lot to update, and I've been trying to think of how to put certain topics into a video, uh, regarding mental health and stuff, and I don't know, it's really difficult for me to put in because I don't want to come off as wanting pity or like I don't want any comparisons as like if I were to talk about something or say something and someone were to think that I'm trying to downplay trans female or non-binary experiences by explaining experiences that have been large parts of trans mask or male identity and experience, where I do find that a lot of the times I hold back and I don't feel comfortable talking about certain things because it seems to um, make people feel that sorry, make people feel that I'm trying to say that something is worse. I don't it's very hard to compare anything, to be honest. It's There is no comparison in certain things. If you think about it, if something is life or death to you, um and it's not a diagnosed, like, you're gonna die type thing, a lot of people don't take it seriously, or they think that there has to be a comparison made and that your situation isn't a serious one. And that's the thing, it's not trying to compare to anybody else. I'm not trying to say in comparison to trans women that this is worse or this is more difficult. Um, Sometimes there will be instances like one thing will be like if you look at trans female bottom surgery, on average, it is easier and has been more perfected than trans masculine bottom surgery, where you have multiple surgeries and it is more high risk and it has not been done or studied as much. That's something that is factual on average. I'm not trying to compare and say one is worse than the other, though, because each individual experience ends up being different. I know many people that have had trans male bottom surgery and have had no issues. I myself have not been that lucky. I know trans women who have had bottom surgery who have had complications. So it's not a matter of comparison or trying to say who's worse. I think it's just that in general, the trans male experience, being trans male, some want to be stealth, some want to pass as cisgender men, which is completely valid. Some of us want to just live in whatever we feel like, whether we decide to be out or stealth, or whether it's a combination of that. Or those of us, I will say myself, where I'm completely out. I'm not stealth in any way, shape, or form, and that is my decision. That is what I'm comfortable with. And I can speak on that, whereas living stealth, I cannot really speak on that as far as transness goes. So there's a wide variety. It's not even just those three ways that there are to live. Sorry, I just need a drink for. Sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah, I want to touch on some topics. One is like mental health, not being as heard or seen within the community is something that is worrisome and sometimes upsetting because while there are many trans males that do want to blend in with everyday society, there are a large amount that want to flow through in different ways and be part of the community still and be a valid representation that is heard and seen and not just taken as a, well, you're a man now, so you're gonna just be a typical male. Like, I don't know, sometimes it's very hurtful. There are things that are said in the cis world that are very, like, demeaning towards like father figures or like certain masculine roles, obviously. And as a trans man, it bothers me personally because my goal is not to live as a cis man, and I don't knock anybody who does, but as a father, as a husband, a lot of these stereotypes do really hurt and bother me. And I was raised by a fantastic dad, and my father-in-law is a fantastic man, and I know many fantastic men. So there's just many things that are on my mind, even thinking about how the way I am a chef. I went to school. I've ran many restaurants I've been a head chef of before I was unable to work anymore. I've made some realizations about why I am unable to work for my mental part. I did experience a lot of sexual harassment while working as a female in kitchens, and now being older but also being male, I don't know what it is, but being male has made me see that the things that I put up with weren't okay, and that, to be honest, if I was a little bit older, or I don't know, like, things were just the way they were when I was that age. And like, the Me Too movement is somewhat recent in comparison to when I was working, so there wasn't anything like that. It was more of like, if somebody's inappropriate, it's just what it is, and you have to put up with it to be in that industry. And sometimes it still is, but it really upset me that it's taken me till almost now to realize that those things were not okay. I could have actually sought legal action against it, and it's just difficult to think about that and think of, like, not it took me because, you know what, I'm a trans man, I'm not a cis man, but now experiencing things as a man and seeing how stereotypical things are, and then seeing where those stereotypes actually come out, it's very disheartening. So living as female and having experiences as a female, and now living as a man and proudly identifying as a trans man. And it's nothing against cis men, like I said, like my dad, my father-in-law, many men that I know are amazing, but there are some very shitty ones. There are shitty women as well. But I want to talk about these topics, and I want to be as sensitive as possible, and I don't want to come off as pigeonholing, comparative. And if anybody is interested in chit-chatting with me about things that you have realized over the years being trans and having lived your life as one gender and now the other, or being non-binary, just how you try to talk about certain things, because I find as a trans male presenting person, it becomes very difficult to actually get into conversations, and I feel like we're not talked about. And I'm not just saying I feel like it, it's a fact that we are less talked about when it comes to the trans community, and that's with our healthcare, mental health care, and even just including us. Over the years, it has gotten better, but it's one of those things where, I'm going to be honest, it took me until like my early 20s to understand that people like me, trans men, existed. I knew about androgyny and like along the lines of non-binary, and I 100% knew about trans women, but it was just not, I had nothing to look upon to see what, like I never, there was next to no one in my life until that point that was trans male. And so to me, it's almost like, it sounds really stupid, but in my mind, if I didn't see any representation, it didn't exist. I did not think that I could exist this way that I am now in my 20s, in my early to mid 20s. Like, I did not think it was possible. It was only towards my mid 20s that I realized that it was possible. And, like, that's saying something, considering, like, that was, like, maybe 15 years ago that I first realized that, like, trans men existed. Like, maybe a little bit before that, but, like, the full realization that they existed and that that was me. It was 15 years ago, roughly. And I find when I try to speak on my experience, even if I'm not being comparative, that it seems to come off to some people as we have it worse. I'm not trying to say that, but each person has their own journey, and each person has their own, you know, complications, setbacks, and everything. And I don't want to come off in any way where I'm like, oh, worse for, you know, we all have our baggage, we all have our stuff, we all have our hoops that we have to jump, and I just want to be able to voice some things about trans male experience in a way that would not possibly offend other people. Not necessarily offend, it's just because it shouldn't offend you. My experience, if you're another trans, my experience should not offend you. My journey and what I do is what it is. I've also been getting a lot of hate lately out of nowhere when I haven't, and my hate is coming from older, like it's being posted on older videos. If it's kind of laughable, I'll leave it, but if it's rude enough that I think it will affect some other person who might be watching my video, reading the comments, if I think that's going to affect how they will feel about themselves, then I do remove it. But just they have been coming in quite a bit lately, and it is surprising considering I don't put hashtags on my videos, so therefore I'm not really in the algorithm as much. But yeah, there's been a good amount of hate coming in, and I don't know, maybe some of you would like to chit chat about that. We can comment below, or you can hit me up on at trans_fellows on Instagram to talk. I'm not I'm not somebody who really knows how to do like dual videos and join lives, or like record Zooms, but if anybody has similar experiences that wants to talk, or someone even who's non-binary or trans female that wants to talk openly and understand that we're not making comparisons amongst each other, we're just chit-chatting about our own experiences and what they may have been, that'd be something I would like to do at some point. So any input or anything like that to kind of like come into the new year with more thoughtfulness in one way, and then also just I don't, as part of an update, I have not heard back about my funding. I'm going to get it, I just don't know when it's going to come in. So then, once I get my funding, then I can contact Dr. Safer's office, and then I can see what dates are available. But it doesn't look like any time in the winter is going to, like, it might, I don't know. Maybe the spring, maybe the summer. I would not do a summer surgery. I like fall and winter, early spring So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be mid-year or towards the end of next year, but yeah, that's still in the works, which has been frustrating, but I will update on that at some point. um, I don't think there's much else. I've been doing better than I thought I would be after my cat passed away, which I talked about in my previous video. Christmas is in a few days, so that will be fun. And I guess I don't have too much else to talk about. I've been very mentally drained lately, and I think it shows, so I'm not gonna dance around it, but I think I just needed to come on here and talk to you all, and maybe just figure out what would be best to get off my chest and maybe other people's chests. Some relatableness, something to take my mind off waiting for funding and my last surgery, hopefully, and just, connect a little bit. I've been very lonely, to be honest. So hopefully, maybe some comments, maybe some chitter chatter, and you know what? I just wish everybody a happy holidays and that everyone has a safe new year. Wherever you are, please stay safe as you possibly can be, and please look out for each other and care for one another. I don't think I will make a new video until the new year. Maybe a quick pop-in, but I'm not sure. My brain's been all over the place lately, so, but if I don't, and I will see everyone in the new year, and I hope that you're all doing well, and I wish you all the best when I talk to you again. Anyhow, take care. Peace.